Hey, peace and blessings. It's your brother Asare, back with another one. Um, y'all probably hear the fireworks outside. It's the 4th of July in America. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to all my veterans. You know, um, Even when I don't agree with the cause that we're fighting for in any situation, not mentioning any specific situation, but even when I don't agree with the cause that we fight for, I always have respect and admiration for the people out there who are actually laying their lives down on the battlefield for whatever it is that they believe in. So shout out to them. You know what I mean? Even some of the homeless veterans out here who have come back from overseas and stuff like that, and who are out here down bad, homeless or whatever the case may be. So disabled veterans, all that stuff like that. So just shout out to them. I know it's 4th of July in America. So just I'm sure y'all see the title of the video. Um, just gonna get into this topic here, the interconnectedness of bodies. Shout out to the true and living. Appreciate y'all chiming in once again to witness the strength of street knowledge. Um, I appreciate the love and everything like that. Um, if you're liking what you've been hearing, like and subscribe. But we're gonna get into the interconnectedness of bodies. But now I'm gonna go ahead and preface this by saying a person who goes into this a lot more in depth is a lady by the name of Sabrina Wallace. She has a channel on Rumble. So I mean, if anybody wants to check her information out, I always try to refer you to, if I can, refer you to another body of information, so you won't just be limited to what I say. I move through a lot of different topics and a lot of different subject matter. So the interconnectedness of bodies. With this right here, we're gonna go on a couple of places on the internet. So y'all don't mind me if I be looking at the camera all crazy and stuff like that. Never mind my eyes. You feel me? It's the 4th of July in America. Don't worry about all that. But anyway, this is an extension of our conversation about the human biofield in general, as well as the field generated by the heart specifically. So it's on a previous video. So on a previous video, we talked about the uh, field generated by the heart. It's a video called "Your Mind Is Not in Your Head: The Science of the Heart," and I was referencing some research done by the Heart Math Institute. You see what I'm saying? I think Dan Winters, he also has stuff out about the science of the heart and all this stuff like that. Just always trying to refer you to other people who are saying similar things and who kind of have more a level of in-depth research. So like I say, this is a an extension of that conversation. This is going to be some of that others to self type of talk here. Okay, so let's get into some of this. Now I'm gonna refer to some of these articles off the internet, so y'all excuse me if I'm looking a little crazy. Let me see here. Okay, so we're gonna refer to this first article. This is an article off of the National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnical Information. Okay, so and anybody can look this stuff up. This isn't, so you just see, this isn't just me pulling it out my rear end. Okay, so biofield science and healing history, terminology and concepts. Okay, let me see here. This is several people written by Beverly Rubik, David Mahusam, Richard Hammerschlag, Shamini Jane. Okay, so it's a couple of people who are responsible for this article and everything like that. So the abstract: biofield science is an emerging field of study that aims to provide a scientific foundation for understanding the complex homeodynamic regulation of living systems. By furthering our scientific knowledge of the biofield, we arrive at a better understanding of the foundations of biology, as well as the phenomena that have been described as energy medicine. Energy medicine, the application of extremely low levels of signal to the body, including energy healer intervention and bioelectromagnetic device-based therapies, is incomprehensible from the dominant biomedical paradigm of life as chemistry. The biofield or biological field, a complex organizing energy field engaged in generation, maintenance, and regulation of biological homeodynamics. Now, this is the um, National Library of Medicine. I'm reading this. Okay. Let me see here. Foundation of Energy Medicine Therapies. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. Biological homeodynamics is a useful concept that provides the rudiments of a scientific foundation for energy medicine and thereby advances the study and practice of it. An overview on the biofield is presented in this paper with a focus on the history of the concept, related terminology, key scientific concepts, and value of the biofield perspective for informing future research. So it goes on and on. Um, just to kind of just let you know this is a real thing. So in everyday parlance, or in what we would normally call this, we would call it the aura. Aura is not an English word. So in English, we don't have a lot of words to describe a lot of these more esoteric concepts and spiritual concepts, but that's a borrowed word and everything like that. But as you can see, medical science or mainstream medical science is accepting this. This term has gotten accepted by the mainstream medical association. So if we get into this, medicine in transition, conventional biomedicine is giving way to an expanding integrated medical model that emphasizes healthcare as well as illness care, treats people not just diseases, and incorporates multiple therapeutic approaches, old and new, to offer patients greater choice. This emerging model questions the dominant biomedical paradigm of molecular reductionism that focuses on genes, proteins encoded by genes, and molecules synthesized by proteins, and that is based on an inherent belief that complex systems can be understood by identifying their components. By contrast, an integrative model of health and medicine appreciates the complexity of our biology, which can give rise to the emergent phenomena that are not, in general, predictive from isolated parts. Such a model also views healthcare from several perspectives beyond the molecular approach, including what has been called energy medicine. Advances in biophysics, biology, psychology, and developing fields of mind-body research such as neuroimmunology and physiosocial genomics have helped substantially to form a foundation for this expanded integrative model of medical model. So that's just, that's a portion of that. That's an article. If you type in biofield science and healing in Google, that'll, I'm sure that's one of the articles that'll come up. Let's see here. This also correlates to our conversation about mudras. Okay, this correlates also to our conversation about mudras. I think we had a video a little bit earlier, well, maybe some months ago, talking about nonverbal communication, and how nonverbal communication preceded spoken communication and everything like that. I mean, the whole video on there, I'll probably leave it in the description or something of that nature. Okay, so this also correlates to our conversation about mudras, because mudras are asanas for your fingers. You see what I'm saying? If I was paralyzed from the waist down, I could not get into a full lotus. So what would be the alternative to that? Asanas are yoga postures. You see what I'm saying? Asanas are yoga postures. The folds in the postures of the asanas correspond to specific collections of nerve ganglia in certain places in the body, called in Ayurvedic medicine marma points, right? They're called marma points in Ayurvedic medicine. These points have a corollary in traditional Chinese medicine as pressure points and acupressure points. Okay, so what they call in Chinese medicine acupressure points, in Ayurvedic medicine, their corollary is marma points. I think there are more acupressure points than there are more marma points. I think the traditional number of marma points is 108. I think there are quite a few more acupressure points, but it's a corollary to it. They have a similar function. So different mudras and asanas affect nervous systems in various ways, even on an emotional level, right? So even on an emotional level, there are, mudras and things or whatever that are designed to calm certain emotions or enhance certain emotions. As far as that, some of the correlation is the four elements and everything like that. So different mudras and asanas affect the nervous system in various ways, even on an emotional level. If it, it has been said that trauma can be stored in the biofield. I think I keep throwing this one up. Eileen Day McCusick, tuning human biofield. She talks about that, how she uses tuning forks to find blockages and things like that in the biofield. So this is, though that might sound fringe to people in the past or whatever case may be, that's becoming a major part of mainstream medical science, as we can see from this article, from the article that I just read. Let me see here. It has been said that trauma can be stored in the biofield, or aura, as it's commonly called. So it can safely be said that mudras, asanas, affect the human biofield on an individual level. So now we're talking about interconnectedness of bodies, but I'm just kind of prefacing this, um, how we have various different things that affect the human biofield and everything like that. The knowledge of marma points, the idea of this the kundalini idea and everything like that, yoga in general or whatever case may be. All of that is are instruments to affect the nervous system and everything. And by affecting the nervous system, you also affect you see what I'm saying, the human biofield and everything like that. So that's on an individual level. So let's keep going. It was also said that the field that the heart produces has the ability to store memories. Remember, we were saying trauma can potentially be stored in the human biofield. Store memories not accessible to the brain, and communicates with other fields produced by other hearts. Okay, this is coming from the Heart Math Institute. Like I said, we have a whole video on that where I kind of go into that literature. About the field that the heart generates and everything like that. And again, I think Dan Winters, he also has a whole body of work in regards to that as well, if you want to get more into that. There are neurons in the skin. You see what I'm saying? I think a common ingredient in nootropics, in a lot of nootropics, is choline. Choline is a common ingredient. So we're going to get into cholinergic cells real quick. So give me just a good second. Okay, so let's see here. The relationship. So there are neurons in your skin, right? And the neurons in your skin correlate or function in conjunction with the human biofield, or they have a relation in with the human biofield. Science, they speak as if they don't have a full understanding of the full connection of what the full function is or whatever case may be. But let's get into this relationship between melanin and cholinergic neurons in the skin. A fascinating relationship exists between melanin, the pigment that determines skin color, and cholinergic neurons, nerve cells that utilize acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that happens in that occurs in the brain and everything like that. It cycles in and out of the brain. So when you deal with certain nootropics or whatever, you have certain herbs and things like that that are included in certain nootropics that enhance the production of acetylcholine, and they also, in some, that also retain acetylcholine in the brain or whatever, so that it can increase your memory function and all kind of things like that or whatever the case may be. This speaks about neurons in the skin utilizing acetylcholine. For other functions, as far as regulating body functions and everything like that. So let's see, the interaction is known as the skin synapse. Here's how they are linked: skin synapse and melanin production. Sunlight stimulus, solar light, particularly UV radiation, triggers the release of acetylcholine from carinocytes, which are the main cells of the epidermis. Acetylcholine's role: then released acetylcholine then acts as on cholinergic receptors, primarily muscarinic acetylcholine receptors, and nicotinic acetylcholine receptors found on the melanocytes, the cells responsible for melanin synthesis. Regulation of melanin, acetylcholine is suggested to act as a negative regulator of melanin production, meaning it can inhibit melanogenesis or the production of melanin synthesis. Acetylcholine influence, acetylcholinesterase, an enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine, is also present in melanocytes that suggests a mechanism where acetylcholinesterase promotes melanin production by producing the inhibitory effect of acetylcholine. Melanosomes uptake by keratinocyte sites. UV and melanosome release. UV radiation also stimulates the release of melanosomes, vesicle containing melanin from melanocytes. Cholinergic mediation. The skin synapse also mediates the uptake of these melanosomes by keratinocytes, a critical step in skin pigmentation. So, yeah, so let me see if I can, I have another section that kind of simplifies that. Let me see here. But basically what it's saying is that these cholinergic neuron cells, or whatever case may be, they influence the production of melanin in the skin and stuff like that. So that's interesting. We all know that melanin is a superconductor and all that stuff like that. So that's an interesting fun fact as far as that. So the neurons, and so basically what I'm saying is melanin, the neurons in the skin, the human biofield, there's a all have a connection and a functionality that coincides with each other. So let me see here. Let's move right along. What is inner body communication? What is inner body communication? And I know I'm skipping around here. Y'all bear with me. Interbody communication refers to a wireless communication technology that uses the human body as a transmission medium for signals between devices. It involves using the body's conductive properties to establish a communication channel, often for applications like body area networks, band, the biomedical monitoring. So this is what I'm talking about. How I was talking about in the previous video, how the fields of one heart communicates with the field of another heart and everything like that. How there's a level of communication independent of cerebral understanding that the heart actually does and stuff like that. How we feel people and all this stuff like that, or whatever case may be. The things that we may experience on a more subtle level, they've developed technology based on that, and we're gonna kind of get into that. Let me see here. This approach offers potential benefits like lower power consumption and enhanced security compared to traditional radio frequency communication. Interbody communication as a communication medium. Instead of relying solely on radio waves, interbody communication leverages the human body's electrical conductivity to transmit data between devices placed on or within the body. So this is all of your biometric devices, utilizes your AI medical monitoring, utilizes this. Let's see, applications. Interbody communication is being explored for various applications, including biomedical monitoring, like I just said, tracking vital signs, heart rate, blood pressure, etc., and physiological signals. Let's see, implantable devices, and I know y'all probably heard this thing about what that they have for the prisoners and everything. Like, y'all excuse me, my eyes going all over the place. I'm looking at the screen instead of the camera. So implantable devices, I know they probably had the thing where they give the prisoners an option to get the chip. I can't remember the name of the corporation. I have to look it up. The chip that alters their behavior or gives them false memories to alter their behavior, as opposed to jail time. They're working that whole thing out. The future of let me see here. Hold on, I'll look it up real quick. And I know y'all hear the fireworks going crazy in the background, man. You know, happy 4th of July, y'all. Chip for inmates. All right, let's see here. Cognify is the name of the company. So if y'all get a chance, y'all feel froggy, y'all can look up Cognify. Check that out. Let's see here. So that's inner body communication. Okay. Hmm. So I'm going into nature.com articles, scientific reports, and everything. Inner body coupling or electro quasi-static human body communication theory and analysis for security and interference properties. Okay. Um, Radiative communication using electromagnetic fields is the backbone of today's wirelessly connected world, which implies that the physical signals are available for malicious interceptors to snoop within a 5 to 10 meters distance. So basically what they're saying is they start getting into all this, putting chips and implantable technology into the body will get to a point where you can hack people's body or biology. Okay, so a 5 to 10 meter distance. Also increasing interference and reducing channel capacity. Recently, electro quasi-static human body communication was demonstrated, which utilizes the human body's conductive properties to communicate without radiating the signal outside of the body. Previous experiments showed that an attack with an antenna was unsuccessful at a distance more than 1 centimeter from the body's surface and 15 centimeters from the electro-quasi-static HBC device. However, since this is a new communication modality, it calls for an investigation of new attack modalities. So they're already talking about how, you know, some of this stuff can be attacked. So as you can see, we're gonna get into some more stuff. Hold on 1 second. So basically, the framework for something we relegate to coincidence and happenstance. Oh man, I was thinking about such and such, and they called me, or whatever the case may be. The connectiveness that we experience between other human beings, things that we speak of in the sense of some sort of happenstance, or whatever the case may be. They're actually developing, not actually developing, but they've already developed technologies based off of that. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so basically, the framework for something that we relegate to coincidence and happenstance is being used as the basis for wireless communication and potentially surveillance technology. So, if you go into some of Sabrina Wallace's stuff, she talks about this as surveillance technology. She talks about this as, they can see through the body and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Um, you have to listen to her explain that. She can speak for herself, but at the end of the day, um, you can go on the internet. Like I'm just looking up. These are just random articles on the internet and everything like that. You see what I'm saying? Let me see here. Yeah, these are just random articles on the internet we're going through. Um, Interbody communication, let me see here, is a technology that uses the human body as a medium to transmit electrical signals between devices, either implanted or wearable. So implanted like chips or wearable like biometric watches. This approach allows for wireless communication within a body area network band. Key concepts: body as a channel. IBC leverages the conductive properties of the human tissue for carrying signals rather than relying on traditional radio waves or other wireless methods. IBCs is primarily used in biometric applications. Body area network, like how you have a wireless area network and all that, connecting various sensors and devices on or within the body for health monitoring or drug delivery. Implanted devices enable communication between implanted devices and external systems or between multiple implants. Neuroscience research facilitating communication within the nervous system for research and therapeutic purposes. Coupling methods. IBC systems typically utilize either capacitive coupling or galvanic coupling. We're going to get into that. Capacitive coupling signals are transmitted through the body with the return path completed through the environment. Galvanic coupling signals are injected into the body using electrodes, and the return path is also through the body. Okay, let me see here. Let's see. Advantages: low power consumption, reduced interference. Signals are contained within the body, minimizing interference with external devices and improving security. Minimization: IBCs allow for developing of smaller and more minimally invasive implanted devices. Challenges: signal attenuation. The signal strength can be affected by factors like electrode placement, tissue properties, and distance between devices, modeling and characterization. So it's going into the pros and cons of it. So this is a real thing. So when they're talking about galvanic coupling and everything like that, that's basically how it's described by some people is basically you're basically putting multiple people's fields together to basically use it to see. You're coupling multiple fields together to either transmit or receive information or whatever have you. Similar to how, let's say, like in the movie The Dark Knight with Christian Bale, how he caught the Joker. He used everybody's cell phone like that. He bridged the signals together to triangulate the location of the Joker. You see what I'm saying? Similar to how, if I'm not mistaken, in the murder case with the Florida rapper Julio Fulio. I think the Teslas were used in the investigation. The cameras all around the Teslas, or whatever case may be, they used the various Teslas in various different locations to kind of like get a picture of the crime scene or whatever case may be, that type of thing. Okay, let me see. Galvanic coupling. Let's get into galvanic coupling real quick. I'm gonna get y'all up out of here real quick. We just want to go with one or two more things. Let me see here. I'll just look it up fresh. We'll look it up fresh. Galvanic coupling. Yeah. Galvanic coupling is a promising approach for intrabody connection. It allows for efficient signal transmissions through tissue, making it more power efficient than RF communication. The modeling of galvanic coupling intrabody communication via handshake channels is discussed in detail. A mathematical model of galvanic coupling interbody connection can be obtained based on proposed circuit model. Finite element models of galvanic coupling interbody connection have also been developed for simulation purposes. So all of this stuff is existing technology. All that stuff that they told you. And shout out to my non-believers. You see what I'm saying? Y'all just make me go even harder with the strength of street knowledge. Real talk. Because for all that stuff that people will tell you that they don't believe in, these are the technical terms and the scientific terms to kind of go into that. So there is a connectivity between people when you feel somebody, when they call you and stuff like that, when you think about them and stuff like that, when somebody you love passes away or whatever case may be, all that stuff like that that we feel that's attached to people, that's a real thing. So much a real thing that they develop technology based off of it. So let's see here. Lastly, let's see. I want to say, yeah, okay. Well, I was just gonna reference Sabrina Wallace's stuff again because, like I said, she does a more in-depth deep dive on some of this stuff. But I was just kind of touching on it because we spoke about the connectivity of people. We talked about people as archetypes in your life. We talked about everything that you do is either designed to fulfill a physical need or a psychological need or whatever, and the people in your life represent various different psychological needs or whatever, or opportunities to exercise certain aspects of our psyche or whatever. So that's kind of what I was getting into. We're probably gonna drop another one today, um, viewing the world as isolated events versus you viewing the world as patterns. So that's probably going to be another video we drop today before I pack it up for the day. But appreciate y'all for chiming in. Peace to the true and living, man. Appreciate y'all for all the support. I think we like 10,000 strong out here, man. Peace to the true and living, man. Appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Check y'all out on the next one. Peace.